Sit beautifully. So dear brother and sister, so hopefully you have a good walk. You enjoy the walk. And it's beautiful to walk together as spiritual friends and brother and sister. So how's your holiday? Hope that you have a good holiday, July 4.
Yes, thank you.
So these days there's a lot of people traveling here and there to find some relax, some kind of happiness in themselves. So the purpose of our life is to live in such a way that we feel happiness in ourselves, right? In every moment of our life. Whether you are single, whether you are married, or whether you are monastics, all of us have to find some kind of happiness in our everyday life. So that's my topic today, is the way to happiness. So what do you think? Which way is to happiness? Is there a way to find happiness? So there's a saying that there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So a lot of times we think that we will find happiness somewhere else. But so while on the path of happiness, we were struggling. So there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. So you have to enjoy every moment on that path. So you cannot say that I have to reach at the end of the tunnel to find happiness or to find peace. So every on your path that you tread on the path of life, then you encounter so many different things on that path, right? So every moment you have to enjoy that path, that peacefulness. You don't wait. What happens when you're at the end of the tunnel you die? Then you don't find peace, right? It's the same thing in our life. So there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So on the way of life, we have to experience peace and happiness on that path. You might encounter so many challenges on that path, but doesn't mean that you cannot find peace and happiness on that path, right? So the first ingredient for me when I meditate, I see that we have to have the right view on that path. First ingredient. Right view. And right view is the first number one on the Eightfold Path of the Buddha. Right view on the Eightfold Path. And this right view is insight. You have to have insight, wisdom. To penetrate or to see through the natures of what it is in that moment. Right? For example, when you walk, and your two legs is your ingredient. You say you have to have two healthy legs in order to walk. And you have to recognize that the legs is a skillful means for you to enjoy that walk. Right? So you have to have insight to see through that nature, to see through what is that path. You have to have wisdom, insight and wisdom. So that's why the Buddha said that in our life, in order to live peacefully, you have to have those insights about what your life, what the reason of life is, the reason of your life, the reason of the path that you want to take. For example, if you want to have a family, then you have to find the right one, right? The right person that you're looking for. You have to have reason. You have to have some kind of insight. You say, instinct inside. You say, oh, this person may be fit for me. But sometimes you make the wrong decision. That's why we are divorced. That's why. So insights and compassion. Is another ingredient. Compassion here that you have to love the path that you take. Right? If you don't love the path that you take, you will not enjoy it. You will feel so boring of the path. You have to have passion on that path you take. Otherwise, you feel boring. You will drop out. You know, if you get married and then you don't feel so enjoy, have happiness in your marriage, you will drop out. You will get, you got a lot of trouble in your marriage because you don't enjoy that marriage. And when you have insight, and then you have when you have trouble with the marriage, and you will sit down. You don't run away from that. In every marriage, they have trouble, they have challenge, they have pain, they have difficulty. But if you have the insight, you will sit down together, work out together. You don't give up. You love each other, but each doesn't mean that when you love each other, you don't have you don't bump into each other. So you have so that's compassion here mean to suffer together. Okay, to bear together, right? To bear with. We have a burden on each other, but we bear with each other. And pasana, when you have the desire to work together. Right? So when you have a compassion, that means you have the desire to help. You have a desire to transform that kind of pain. You see someone else pain and suffering, and you have desire. You develop the desire, the interest to help that person. You don't blame that person. You don't condemn that person, but you have the desire to help, to bear with. So it's very important to, on the path of happiness, you have to have insights to work together. No family have no drama. Every family have drama, dramatize each other. But because you have insight, and when you have insight, you have out of that drama, you work together to develop strength out of that drama. You don't condemn each other. You don't blame each other. You don't play arrogance of each other. You don't say, I'm the best, you are not. Pride. In family, sometimes one have pride and the others feel low esteem. Right? You have, number two, you have to have a healthy mentality. Healthy mental. Healthy mental here, that means every day you have to cultivate good seeds on your path. Otherwise you feel bored. Life sometimes very boring. That's why people get depressed. So every day you have to have a good mentality, wholesome mentality. Think positively in all situations. In all situations. Think positively in all situations. So you develop the energies we call efforts. You have to have right efforts. Effort here, I mean right energies, positive energies. Diligently to work on your drama. Everybody have drama internally. You by yourself have a drama already, and you get someone else, double drama. Trauma. And you traumatize each other. A lot of time in marriage, if you got involved, you traumatize each other. Like that. And you bring in, put each other in hell. Hell realm. A lot of time. In your side, by yourself, you have that kind of drama already. But if you don't have this insight, wisdom. And compassion is also compassion for yourself too. Self-compassion. You have to have a passion to work on yourself. You have so many trauma, and then you say, "Oh, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to change myself." Yeah? Change yourself. Compassion to yourself. And when you have the compassion yourself, then you understand. Compassion here, you understand the other person, and you have the interest to help each other, to work on, to desire to help each other. On Tuesday night class, last Tuesday night I was talking on ahimsa. And the situation sometimes brings to very intense. And sometimes we have wrong perception of each other. Wrong perception. We already have wrong perception on ourselves, and that double wrong perceptions on other person. And sometimes we witness something that person do is very violence, and you're not able to let go. And you say that I'm compassionate. I can practice, but I cannot let that person go. And that is not is ultimate compassion yet. And compassion is the seat of the Buddha nature, the nature seat of the Buddha nature. All Buddha, all awakened one have to have this kind of seat. To perfect that seat in themselves. Children, they have that seat, compassion. Even animal, right? Animal. For example, I see some on Facebook some short clip, and then the dog, and one dog, one of the dog was get injury, hit by the car, and the other dog carry that dog on the side of the road. You see that? Dog have compassion for their friend. And make me cry when even the dog hit by the car and that dog, and he carry on the way, and he tried to make him a great yard. You see, dog like that. But as an animal, it's very difficult to fully develop a compassion. But human, we have more potential. potential to develop that. And when you have compassion in your heart, you're a happy person. Doesn't matter who you are. You look at all sentient beings with the eyes of compassion. And that is the Bodhisattva of Avalokitesvara here. In the Sutra of folk monk is a universal door. Is to say that Avalokitesvara, which is the compassionate mother, look down at all human beings with the eyes of compassion. And that's why we pay respect to her, so that we can water the seed in us. Compassion is our Buddha seed. Compassion is our Buddha nature. And that compassion is one of the four immeasurable mind. The first, what is the four immeasurable mind? Compassion, kindness, sympathetic joy, equanimity. And compassion is one of the four immeasurable mind. And if we want to fully develop that, every day we have to water that. The moment you have compassion in your heart, you feel happy. It doesn't matter. You look at all animals. You see the connection. This morning we have a cat here, and sometimes he eats mice. That is his instinct. And I say, when I say, no, okay? I tell you no, not to kill other enemies, your friends. And this morning he eats a mice and lift the heart out. That's her instinct. But we have to warn her every time. You live in a temple, you shouldn't kill. No killing in a temple, okay? What she say? So I have to have compassion for the cat. And you have to transmit this. You have this energy, and you want to transmit this energy to your children. So you have two of your children here, right? We have to raise our children in a compassionate way. Imagine that we have a compassionate society. Imagine that. Now in society we have so much hatred going on. So much violence going on. You turn on TV, you see that. And it keeps watering our hearts, our consciousness. Right? It keeps watering. And then once that seed is so strong, we hate each other. If we see one person do violent things, and that's all you see, you don't see the other things. So each individual, we have to make our way as compassionate life. And you want happiness, you want on that path, you have to have that ingredient, that kind of seed in yourself. And how do you do that? Where do you start? Start from your heart. Every morning, you wake up and say, may all living beings live in safety. That is the practice. May all living beings here include the trees, includes the insect, include animals. May all living beings live in safety. The first thing you tell yourself. And it costs you nothing. Instead of thinking, what should I do, And sometimes we just get up and we think something else. We say, I have a full schedule today. We forget that. But if you give rise to that thought, the day is different. You start out with that energy, with that right efforts here. Energy. Right in your hearts. You develop a healthy mentality right away. Healthy mentalities. four character is patience. So all this is I meditate and I see what I go through. So I write down in my practice, patience. In order to love someone, sometimes we are very patient. That person is very difficult to love. Everything he does or she does is produce some kind of unrest energies. Some there's people like that in life. There's people like that in your life. Maybe one day your children, maybe your friends, people that are around you, because you have so many friends. But you're lucky you have some children like this, come and study and practice. You are lucky, have a family like that. You're willing to bring them here, and they're willing to sit down. Sometimes, our children, we have so much different, energies. They run around, they are very hyperactive, right? When you're young, but now it's maybe different now, right?
Very different.
Different now. Now they're able to sit. Yeah, they sit quiet, And lucky that you bring them to the environment that is healthy. You water the seed right away, right? And that is our responsibility. Even in the friends that we have around us, we should invite them to a retreat, to a day of mindfulness. They have a chance to eat some silent lunch together, appreciation meal up together, and that kind of image, that kind of picture, that kind of seed is in them. So we have to very patiently with ourselves, even with ourselves. Sometimes we could not able to sit still because we have a so hyper energy, and we have to patient with ourselves to do that. You have to ground yourself, tell yourself to be patient. So in order to love someone, you have to be very patient in your life. Someone that I know many years ago, I'm still very patient and wait for them to change, make some positive change. But sometimes they couldn't. They practice so long, but the teaching is not permeate or penetrate their body and their mind. Sometimes we study, but we practice, but we are very, we call mechanical. We are very intellectual. And the more you study that, the more arrogant you are. The more pride you are, because you say, I know a lot, but actually we know nothing. You know a lot, but you don't change yourself. You know nothing. Right? Important is to make some transformation, some real change in yourself. That's very important. You patience to wait to see that change in yourself internally. So patience is very important in our life. In order to succeed in your practice, you have to be very patient with your practice. It's not an instant noodle, but we just go out and make some instant noodle and eat right away. If instant noodle, everyone become a Buddha already. Nobody make pain and suffering for each other. Okay, nobody make pain. So the practice have to be quite very patient. The fifth thing is genuine. Genuine with yourself. How do you spell genuine? Is that G-E-N?
U-I-N-E.
U-I-N-E. Genuine with your practice. We have to be honest with ourselves. It's very important, genuine practice. Because not every time that we practice, we harvest some happiness and joy. It's not all the time. But you have to accept that and genuine with that. The genuine quality is very important in our practice. On the part of on the path, on the journey of life, not every day is a happy day. Not every day is a peaceful day. And we have to change, honor that, and accept that. There's moment that you feel so uprise, riot in your own mind, or in your own body. And that moment, what do? Do some work in meditation. You cannot sit. Because you sit, you feel so disturbed. You're so unpeaceful, so now you do is just walk. Take a walk. You have so many different ways. So in Buddhist we have 84,000 Dharma down. 84,000. So if you cannot sit still, just take a walk. And you cannot walk, go to the fridge and take some water. Right? That's one Dharma down. So on your path or journey of life to happiness, you always give rise to wish to protect all living beings without acceptance from their suffering. That's the compassion. Give a wish to protect all living beings. You don't say that, oh, that person, I cannot love him. The more challenging that person is, the more you're able to love him or her, help him or her, desire not to. That means most of the time, it's easy to love someone is very, friendly, very disciplined, very easy. But to love someone that violence is totally different. So this is one of the criteria when I was in Burma. My master Thay has said that in order to be a Dharma teacher, you have to stay with someone that is very difficult but transforming. That is one of the tests, one of the criteria in order to be a Dharma teacher. Someone that is so challenging, you have to stay with that person and love him. It's very difficult.
An unfavorable bodhisattva.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to transform the adverse condition in your life. And in our life, there's a lot of conditions of adversity, right? And people around us too. You have to transform that adversity, turn that into compassion, compassion. That means help, the wish, the desire to help that person. Even your children, some of your children is very stubborn. And we stubborn ourselves, and our children are stubborn. And if you don't have that, where do you going to put that kid? It's your children. Right? You own him somewhere. So, you own him or her something in your previous life. So they come and they say, you have to pay me back. And just like your friends like that too. Because in the naked eye we don't see that. But in the Dharma eyes the Buddha sees. And the Buddha had one of his first cousin, Devadatta. And many of you know that, the story of Devadatta. He's always jealous of the Buddha. He always tried to make trouble to the Buddha, all the time. But the Buddha said that without Devadatta I cannot be enlightened. Many lifetimes, not like one lifetime, many lifetimes. Devadatta was always around with the Buddha and create trouble for the Buddha. The Buddha said that without Devadatta I cannot have full compassion, develop my full compassion. Devadatta, and many students too. And one day the Buddha, was go arming, and Devadatta and accompanied with one of the princes, and then stand on the high mountain and roll down the boulders to injure the Buddha. And the Buddha get the rock was hitting the toes of the Buddha. And many times he arranged things to assassinate the Buddha. His first cousin. So someone close to you harm you. But the Buddha always had compassion for David. And I use the term unfavorable bodhisattva. You have many unfavorable people in your life. It's unfavorable. And you have to consider them bodhisattva in your on your path. So happiness is not something, is everything is smooth to you. Everything is going flow the way that you want. Sometimes if happiness is like that, it's very boring. It's boring. Everything is already laid out, you go to the house and everything is there. You don't have to do nothing. Happiness you have to earn for yourself. You have to earn through your practice. The journey of your life. That make your life rich. All these challenges make your life very rich. It strengthens your character. You become more experienced in life when you're able to penetrate that. But you need the insight, how to respond to that. When something that very challenging to you, how do you respond that with compassion? With compassion. Not any thought of give rise to harm. You cannot say that I only love people that are in my favor. You cannot say that. Right? That's easy already. Piece of cake. To love someone that everything is listen to you. Go to your way, according to your way, then easy. Then your life will not very rich. Very rich. So happiness is very rich. And all of us want happiness in our life. Power of life. We're all here. No exception. Even the cats, they want happiness. They want to be pet. But doesn't mean that we don't discipline the cat. If he kills, I have to discipline him. I don't want him to continue to harvest more unwholesome actions. Right? Have to train, have to discipline.